Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm doing this reading for the Air Sign Collective. I was sitting here meditating, about to just channel readings, and then Spirit revealed to me that there's a very specific message that Spirit wants to bring to my collective at this moment. And so we are looking at what your person lied to you about. There are many of you who are currently finding yourself feeling as though you have the urge to move forward. You want to drive your life forward in some way, but you feel as though you can't, you still feel stuck in the past. This is a relationship, a situation that you removed yourself from, or you guys separated. But for some reason you keep finding yourself going back there. You don't feel as though you got the closure. It doesn't make sense. You don't understand what happened because what they said, what they did, how they behaved, how you felt, the plans you made, and what ended up happening, it didn't make sense, and it's left your head spinning a little bit. And so this is what Spirit is wanting me to bring you answers to, or clarity to some extent, to just help you to know and recognize what is at the base of the connection, so that you can then decide what you want to do moving forward with that. You take the information and you decide what you want to do moving forward. To those of you who are new to my channel, you've just been guided, you have felt drawn to watch this video, welcome. I'm High Priestess Elif. I channel my messages. I receive messages from Spirit and I translate all of this in a way that makes sense to you. I use the cards as a tool to help me to do this as well. But everything that I'm saying to you is me channeling. So I always ask that you take a few deep breaths, settle into your intuition, and ask your guides and keepers to guide you, to help you to know and recognize whether or not it is your message, so that if it is for you, it resonates without a doubt. Leave the rest. Don't take what doesn't fit. Okay? You have to be selective about your energy, guys. You are creating your reality. You are constantly creating your reality. What you focus on is what you attract. There is always two ends to a stick. And in relationships, especially when things don't go the way we want, we have a tendency to want to establish, well, who was right and who was wrong. And I always want to be right. So I've got to find all the evidence. I've got to put all the evidence together that I possibly can to confirm that the other person was wrong. No, on every subject, there are two ends of the stick. There is what we perceive to be reality. There is what is based on our ego constructs. There is what we have a tendency to believe. There is what we focus on because of our fears and our doubts. And then there is what Source knows. Okay? We all have good qualities within us, and we all have negative traits. And what you focus on in any situation, if you focus on the negative traits, you will find more evidence of it. It will grow. That's just the way that it is. But if you focus on the good things and you focus on what is associated with Source and soul truth, there will be no need to find evidence of someone else's fault or wrong being, because that's not what the soul does. That's ego stuff. And you get to decide which end of the stick you want to focus on. And what you focus on is what will grow. Okay? So this reading is not about making your person bad because they were not honest with you. It doesn't matter who we are. I'm only able to bring you the honesty that I was able to connect with within myself. The deepest level of truth that I was able to connect with within myself is what I'll be able to bring you. And some of us, our truth is a little bit shallow because we've not had the courage or the ability or the opportunity to go deeper, whatever it may be. Sometimes people tell you the truth based on how they feel and what they'd like. But then there's another truth that sort of holds them away or apart from being able to do that. And often that's what shows up in their behavior. And then you turn around and you discredit them and say that they were dishonest. There's always two ends of a stick, even for you. You have what you want to believe about a situation, and then there's at least 2 or 3 other perspectives. And therefore you can put 10 people in a room. You can play the very same story, very same movie, and when they translate what it is that they were watching, they will translate that story based on their perspective. You will have 10 people that will see the same situation in 10 different ways, very possibly. Those perspectives will meet here and there. But this is the reality of our existence. There is no black and white. The ego has the tendency to want to make things black and white, but there is no real black and white. So this reading is about revealing to you what perhaps this person was not able to express or to acknowledge to themselves. Whatever it may be, it's to empower you in the connection, to have deeper understanding, to then be able to let them go if that's what you want to do, or to forgive them if that's what you want to do, or to give them another chance if that's what you want to do. Whatever it is that feels right for you. No one can make your decisions for you. You have free will. And you get to decide, and that's the beauty of our reality. But that also means that you carry, and you alone carry, the consequences of your decisions. Okay? So, I'm going to start off by looking at what was happening in your person's energy when you were together. What is at the basis of your connection, to give you a better indication and understanding of whether this is your story. I am reading for the air signs. I do have a tendency when I'm channeling to mention other signs, and that could just be because your person could, if I say this is for the fire signs or whatever, it could just mean that you have fire in your chart as well, or that your person has that. So take it as it resonates, so as it shows up for you. Trust your intuition. But this is a reading for the air signs. What is it that this person that you have on your mind was lying to you about, dishonest with you about? At the base of this connection, I'm seeing that for many of you, this was a marriage. You were married to this person or in a long-term commitment. I get the impression that you always felt like you loved them more than they loved you. That's what I'm seeing, what Spirit is showing me. You were also dealing with someone that has struggled with codependence and addictive behavior for a long period of time. You were constantly wanting to love them into wholeness and love them into well-being and love them into wellness. But you always felt that you were competing with the things that they were wrestling with, these demons that they were wrestling with. What ended up happening in your dynamic is that it became a situation where you were the one that was holding the connection up. So you were the strong one, you were the wise one, you were the one that knew how to fix the issues, the problems, and this is what Spirit is saying. Even though this person had the ability and had grown, and you might not know this or realize this because you felt like they were just still doing the same things, this person had grown, they had evolved. Love has had a major impact in their life experience, but because your relationship, the essence of it, the basis of it was you being the role that you played, the lover, the healer, the nurturer, the one that set the tone emotionally, the fixer. They didn't want to this person was afraid to release the bondage, the shackles, and to rise up. They were afraid to be whole because then maybe there would be no use for you. You wouldn't have a role in their life. They became so adept to playing that role, to providing you with someone to care for. That's why I say it's codependence. That they were afraid that if they didn't need you anymore, then you wouldn't see the need to be with them. They felt as though you felt a sense of purpose and worth around having to fix them and being the one that was always shining. And they didn't want to, they were afraid that if they rose into who they now were, and if they changed, that the dynamic in your relationship would change. That you wouldn't see the need or the purpose to be with them anymore because they didn't need you. And that you wouldn't feel that you wouldn't know how to love them if they were whole. Okay, I hope this makes sense. I'm trying to translate, I'm trying to explain what Spirit is showing me in the best way possible. So I hope that my words don't do justice, but I hope that they serve in this way. Now, you believe that their codependence, their addictive behavior, their toxic behavior is what ended this relationship. It's not. It was the fear that you were so devoted and dedicated to fixing everything around you. You are compulsive about that. And taking control and being in charge and having that position. And they didn't want to strip that from you because they were afraid that you wouldn't know how to love them and to be with them if they were no longer here, beneath you almost, but here or towering slightly above. And it was fear, it was that fear. And there must be something in your behavior, in your energy that has contributed to that, that basically was active for them to have had that belief, and that, not the belief, but that energy must have been active in some way in your dynamic, because it became so big that it is what created the rift. Yeah. Okay. Right, let's see. And some of you might be wondering how they're doing now, and also some of you might be wondering why it seems that they're doing better, and you're not sure if you can believe that they are doing better, and you're wondering if they're just pretending. This person had outgrown, healed, and overcome a lot of this addictive behavior long ago, but because they identified with it so much, and the basis of relationship for them has been around them being in these codependent situations where they experience love from people through people wanting to take care of them. And if they don't need to be taken care of anymore, then you're not going to do it anymore, and they still want that, so they liked, their ego was too stuck in that role. That's what Spirit is showing me. Now, what is it that they were dishonest about? Number one, that they didn't need you anymore, but that they loved you so much that they didn't want to admit that, because their beliefs still associated need and love. Yeah, this person was afraid that them closing the cycle with their addictive behavior meant closing the cycle with your relationship, because for such a long time the relationship and their behavior was this wheel that sort of moved in unison. And they felt burdened. Because they couldn't be, it was difficult for them to rise up and be who they now were, because you still saw them as who they've always been, and they still felt they needed to continue to play that role to keep this relationship, to hold it together, and it didn't work. They wanted to, and they tried to tell you this in many, many different ways. But really, they know they didn't try very hard. What is it that this person lied to this air sign collective about? This person, they lied to you about their challenges. They pretended to be a mess because they didn't believe that you had the capacity to accept them if they were not a project. And that this relationship was based on you nurturing and mothering them, and they didn't need that anymore, and they didn't want that anymore, and they didn't know how to change things. So they felt that they had no choice but to let let it go, because they felt as though that would be inevitable. And it's a difficult thing because this person resented you because they always saw the potential of this relationship, but it was never given the opportunity to be that, because you always saw them as broken. You could never see them as more. So they struggled to rise up and to be your equal, so that you could build and grow things together, and that's what they wanted in this relationship. But you automatically took this role and needed to have these problems to fix. This is how they see you, okay? So I'm not saying that this is you, but you'll know how it fits. And they feel that because of your compulsive need to be mothering and to be fixing and to be controlling, you would focus in on the things, on the subject. Maybe this is why I was channeling the two ends of the stick. This is why I was channeling the two ends of the stick, obviously, because what they didn't tell you was that they resented you because they love you so deeply, and they saw what this relationship was supposed to be right from the start. But it didn't matter what the situation was. It was always easier for you to see the part of it that could be a problem, and then you would get into wanting to fix it. You could never just let it be. You could never just focus on what they were doing right. You became so obsessed with fixing things and fixing them and trying to prevent possible problems that you don't realize you actually created it. They didn't tell you that the reason why they did what they did, that walking away, possibly blocking or ghosting you, distancing themselves, or just giving up on this relationship, and you obviously felt abandoned, and they never gave you that closure. They didn't tell you that they actually resent you because they love you so much and they feel like you robbed them and yourself, your connection, of what it was supposed to become, because you were compulsive about fixing things. that you never gave them the space to rise up and be who they really are, and that they never really got to experience the fullness of who you are because you were so busy mothering them and fixing whatever problems you thought was coming, that they couldn't just enjoy being with you, and they felt robbed. And that's what it is. They were resentful. I'm seeing here that many of you are not in contact. And you can't understand why they treat you the way that they do, because you were so good to them, but they actually resent what you perceive to be good to them. They resent you for it. And at the same time, they love you. They haven't stopped loving you. So this is a very difficult position for them to be in, and I'm sure for you as well, because there's love here. There's so much love and so much emotion. And you both feel as though you've been robbed of an opportunity, and you feel they robbed you guys of what you could have had, and they feel the same way about you. You wanted to understand why things fell apart between you, why they couldn't, why you felt as though they didn't really want to do the work for this relationship, or they didn't want to fight for you guys. And this is what they didn't want to tell you, because they didn't feel that you would get it. And also they didn't want to explain because of the resentment, I suppose. You were both dissatisfied when you had everything and every possibility to have what your hearts desired in this connection. And you feel as though they robbed you, and they feel as though you robbed them. That's why they did what they did. Because they felt resentful. They felt resentful towards you because they felt that you robbed them of the opportunity to really be able to love you, and robbed them of the opportunity to truly be loved and not be a project. Robbed you guys of the opportunity to be happy, and you feel the same way. They didn't believe that you would be able to see it their way. They believed that you would continue to believe in opposition, like how they see things and how you see things clash. There's a clash. So there's love and there's resentment. And the both of you ask yourselves, how do we get, with these two things, how do we get anywhere from here? This is a difficult one, guys. This is a difficult one. But I hope that Spirit knows what it is that you needed to hear. Spirit knows what it is that you needed to know. And I trust and believe that it serves you in the way that it's meant to. But I feel that both of you are in pain, still in pain about this. If it resonates with you, please comment, let me know how. And if you feel drawn to getting a personal reading, because as I said, this is a general reading, it's for the collective, the sign collective. But so if you are feeling that you want to get a personal reading to get insight into your situation, you can contact me. My email is in the description box below. This has been a very specific read, so if it's not your message, you would absolutely know that. Do what is best for you. Take the information, allow yourself to set an intention to understand it and to be able to make the most of it in the way that serves you in your healing and in your movement forward, because there is definite healing that needs to take place here, not only for you but for your person too. There was a life shared here, and there is a lot of resentment about how you were or were not experienced or experiencing one another, and both of you feel robbed. I can see why you would feel stuck. So, as I said, do what is best for you, love and light, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now.